producer John Fardy, who stepped out of the madness of Dublin's Camden Street and surrounding environs. And I've made my way to Live and Breathe Pilates studio run by Steph Gray, who's going to tell me a little bit about how she came to be running a Pilates studio and what Pilates is all about. And I'm even going to try and stretch a little bit on the floor. Steph, you're very welcome to Down to Business.
Thanks very much, John.
So we always ask people, how did you end up being an airline pilot, or how did you end up running a company, that makes milk bottles? But Pilates, people do it as a hobby, but how do you end up making a living out of it? Tell us your story briefly.
So I would have worked in IT for years, IT sales.
The polar opposite of Pilates.
The complete polar opposite. But I ended up doing Pilates myself because I was prone to injury and somebody had suggested it as a way that I could keep myself uninjured. So I started doing it, and that was back in 1999, and then got so involved and so in love with it, I was doing 2 or 3 classes a week. So I wanted to initially just know more about it, so I decided to do the teacher training with absolutely no intention of ever teaching. It was just for my own information. Right. Part of the course was that I'd actually have to teach. And then as part of that, I realised I actually really liked to teach. So I started off teaching friends in work, and then small classes on a Sunday night in a place just not too far from here, actually. I started adding more and more classes to my schedule. So I was working a lot of evenings, still working full-time in the IT job. And then just really deciding over time that gradually I wanted to move more into this. The IT job I was in had been bought by a larger company, so I actually ended up changing company. And over, I suppose, 18 months, 2 years into that job, I'd approached my boss about working part-time. He was really supportive and said, yeah, absolutely. So I pushed my luck and said, can I work from home as well? And he said yes, which was great. So it allowed me to be very flexible, I suppose, in the timetable that I had. I could still facilitate my customer meetings. I could teach. I ended up working in a physiotherapy clinic at that stage as well. And at the same time, we were looking for premises. So it took a good bit of time to find somewhere that we liked. The building here on Camden Row, I'd walked past for years. I live locally and always wondered what was in here. So when it came up for lease, we came in, we saw the layout. It had been a factory at that stage, so it needed a lot of work. But we floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking gardens, and that kind of sold me on it.
And it is a lovely premises, I have to say. So you have given up the IT job. You made the leap.
Yeah, absolutely. It took a while. So we opened
scary, I'm sure, to
completely,
leave a permanent pensionable job or something approximating.
Well, my mother told me I was a lunatic. But it was a case that I worked part-time for a long time to actually facilitate the ability to be able to open the business. And we signed the lease in, I think it was December 2011. We opened January 2012, and then I think June 2012 I handed my notice in because I realised I need to build my own business. And actually really put the effort in. So 2012, here we are, 2016. I don't see any debtors at the door or anything, so you're making it work, yeah? Yeah, we are, and actually, the building used to be a debtor's prison, so, it has history of that. But no, we're doing pretty well. We're just in the process of taking on 3 new instructors, which is great. September is always a good time for people to get back to exercise and to Pilates as well, so hopefully that'll be a busy period. So is September, I always think it's a bit like the 2nd January, kind of. Yeah, exactly, and a lot of people just kind of see it as the time of year the kids are going back to school and time for them to be able to focus and do something good for themselves. Many people guffawed as I left the office in my shorts and I told them I was doing Pilates. But the funny thing is, it's your bread and butter, but myself included for the most part, aren't fully sure of what Pilates is. It's kind of passed a lot of people by. They hear it, people make jokes about it. So nuts and bolts, what is it? What am I going to do? What do people do? Who was Joe Pilates? So many questions. All right, so let's just start. So Joseph Pilates was a man, for starters. Yes. And I get this reaction from a lot of guys. It's just like, it's going to be people just lying on the floor and breathing, isn't it? It's not, it's a workout. An aerobic workout? It wouldn't be a cardiovascular workout as such. This is more about precision, controlled movements. In some cases, you will break a sweat, but that will be because of muscular effort rather than that you're, hammering out 600 reps of a particular exercise and alignment. Okay. What I'll get you to do first of all, John, is one of the sort of most well-known classic, I suppose, Pilates mat exercises called 100. Okay. Now, you are a beginner for this, so I don't want to kill you altogether, but we'll give you some modifications as we go. Great. So first of all, I'm going to get you to lie down on your back, and let's just pop your head on that pad there behind you just to give yourself a bit of support. Okay? Bend your knees up so your feet are flat on the floor. Yeah. Okay, and then bring your arms down by your sides. Okay. Feet are hip distance. So far, so good. Okay, now from there, what I'm going to get you to do is just to float your hands off the floor, just a couple of centimetres, and then I'd like you just to start to pump your arms up and down. All right, imagine that you had a balloon under your hands and you're pushing down on it. Okay, no problem. Start to make it a little bit faster. Okay, you don't have to hit the floor, just think of that movement going on. Yeah, and reaching your fingertips down towards the far end, down towards your feet. Okay, and keep pumping the arms. Now from there, you're going to nod your chin a little towards your chest, and then I would like you to lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Okay. So at this stage, the conversation might get a little bit shorter, okay? It's okay. Reach the fingertips away. I'd like you to keep your upper body still as you pump your arms. So head stays exactly as where it is, and your arms are going to reach. Okay? Try not to nod your chin, and just keep reaching the fingertips. Now, from there, I'd like you to bring one leg up in the air. So you're going to bring it to what we call tabletop. Have your knee bent. Yeah, so bend your knee in. And then you're going to...
How far do you want me to bring my...
Bring it to 90 degrees at your hip and 90 degrees at your knee.
As in perpendicular?
As in perpendicular.
That's quite a tall order.
Bend that knee in. So bend from there.
Yeah.
And then you're going to take the other leg up to join it, okay?
Wow.
But have your knees bent. So think of bending the knee down a little bit. Exactly,
okay.
Even a little bit more.
Okay.
So 90 degrees, even more. And then take that second leg up to join it. Pull your knees in a little bit towards your chest.
Okay.
Press the knees and ankles together for me. Bring them in a little bit more so there's no pressure on your back.
Okay.
And we still need to pump your arms. Keep breathing, inhaling as you go and exhaling. Now, if you want a little bit more challenge, we're going to bring that head back up again.
Okay.
Okay? And still keep pumping the arms. And we're just going to go for another 10, John. And the final challenge you can add is sending your legs out. You can stretch them away from you, not so low that you feel your lower back. And then from there, bend your knees back in again and let your head rest down, let your arms rest down and release. Lower the legs down one at a time and rest it out. So we work gradually in Pilates. We build up gradually. You can feel how difficult it is to keep your legs up, keep your arms pumping and your head up at the same time.
And they're kind of movements you don't have much cause to do that often, I would think.
So generally 100 is a very strong functional exercise in that it teaches you shoulder control, it gets you to strengthen your abdominals while engaging your back muscles as well, and then we start getting the legs involved. So it really is a whole body exercise. Have you recovered there okay?
Absolutely. What's next?
Okay, so maybe we get you up on some of the equipment next. So you can
I have to
go.
say it looks slightly like what I imagine. I've never seen one. Slightly like some paraphernalia from a dingy London sex club, but I'm only surmising, of course, you realise.
So no, absolutely not. So the next exercise, we'll come over and just to loosen your back out after all that hard work, we'll come onto the Cadillac, all right? Okay. And if you can sit yourself up, facing towards the windows on that side for me, please. And then bring your feet against the silver uprights on either side.
Okay.
Okay, so like most guys, don't take offense, we've tight hamstrings here, okay? So try to bend your knees slightly there for me.
Okay, so where am I put my hands?
So I'm going to get you to bend your knees first.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're going to bring your hands up and we're going to put them on this roll down bar here, so either side.
It's a bit like a hospital bed.
So that's exactly where Joe Pilates invented these machines. Right. He was interred in the Isle of Man during the Second World War, and he used hospital bed springs to help develop the equipment.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's where it came from.
Some of my bones definitely feel a little lighter or something. I feel stretched in a good way.
Yeah, so generally we talk about what we call axial elongation in Pilates. So we don't kind of default and slump forward all the time. We use muscular effort to keep ourselves upright. So part of the plan in Pilates is to get you more upright. We counteract all the sitting or, being stuck at the desk or stuck in the car. The idea is to get us upright and moving. That's the main thing, really. That's the big message, get moving.
So finally, aside from my show, I can highly recommend a visit here to Live and Breathe Pilates studio. Are you still accepting customers?
We absolutely are. So we have a regular clientele who come to regular classes. We also then have introductory offers for new people. I would say if somebody's injured or they're coming to us from rehab, they come to us for one-to-ones rather than group classes initially, especially if they've been referred by a physiotherapist. But we've lots of different classes, prenatal, postnatal. One of my favourite groups to teach is the over 55s or Fit for Life group. They're great crack and really interested in just getting moving. And then we do a lot of other specialist classes as well. Pink ribbon Pilates for breast cancer rehab and others such as that.
Great. Well, as a post-Newstalk class after a busy day on the phones and behind the mic, I can highly recommend it. Thanks a million.
Yeah, John, thanks a million for coming in. I hope we didn't break you.
Not at all.
Wow. I bet nobody thought they'd hear that much grunting when they tuned in to Down to Business this morning. A big thanks there to Live and Breathe Pilates studio on Camden Row in Dublin city centre. It's Jack Horgan-Jones in here for Bobby Kerr this morning. Up next, Uber, and not a taxi to be hailed.
Down to Business on Newstalk.